Hi everyone, this is Sunzi. Welcome back to Sunzi Quarterly YouTube channel. So today, before we go into what keyboard we're about to build, there's a little bit of a backstory behind this. So one day, my friend actually sent me a text and he asked, hey, what's a good keyboard to use for work? So I was thinking about it and I sent him a link for the MX keys from Logitech. And I told him that this keyboard is really nice. I typed on it before and the typing feeling is actually really good. The only downfall to it is that the key travel is a little bit shallow. If you're used to mechanical keyboards, then the key travel can be a bit shallow, and that's basically the only thing that I would say is because I typed on it before, and when I type on it for long periods, I can kind of feel the shallowness when I was typing on it, and sometimes I can feel it in my fingers. So that's what I told him. And then after that, he was like, yeah, I'm looking more into a mechanical keyboard. And then he gave me some specific requirements for what he was looking for. And here we are. So our mission here is to build a mechanical keyboard for a office environment. So what we will be looking at today is the Ninja87BT from Monster Gear. And the BT stands for Bluetooth, so this is actually a Bluetooth keyboard, and it is a 10 keyless format, which is very exciting. So let's get right into it. Packaging, nothing special. What is quite interesting though is what they do include in the box. So they already include this Bluetooth connector thing. Basically, I guess their assumption is if you're going to use a mechanical keyboard, you probably own a desktop instead of a laptop, and there's a very high chance that you don't actually have Bluetooth yet. So the fact that they actually included this in the box is actually very nice of them. And the thing is, this keyboard is only around $90, and for only 90 bucks, they also included this as an extra for you to this Bluetooth thing as an extra, just in case you don't have one. Is actually a really nice touch. Then here's the cable. Nothing special about this cable, but actually I quite like it because it's not coiled. I think coiled cables are cool, but at the same time, it depends on, you really have to keep your desk managed. And if you use a coiled cable and you're not really like always keeping your desk like, if you're not always managing your desk, it could get a little bit out of hand and eventually the coil will actually become more messy. So this cable, it's actually not a bad choice, USB-C and all. So good cable. Then we have the batteries, which are two AAA batteries that they actually included. So this keyboard, it's Bluetooth, but it actually has batteries, which is could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Some people are like, oh, I don't want, it's old school, I don't want to use batteries. Other people could be like, oh, I wouldn't even bother charging it, so I might as well just use these batteries for Bluetooth. And basically, you use this for a wired connection, and then you use the batteries for Bluetooth, basically, and that's not very uncommon. There's a lot of keyboards that actually do that. They include a Keycap Puller, and this is not the most impressive Keycap Puller that I have seen. Let me check. Huh. So if I compare this to my own Keycap Puller, where is my Keycap Puller? Wait, where did I put my Keycap Puller? This isn't actually that bad. This material is definitely lacking, but the puller itself is actually not too bad. Where is my? Oh, there it is. What the frick? Okay, so comparing it to my Keycap Puller, this is a bit long. I think this can be a bit shorter. But overall, this is pretty good. I've seen worse, so not too bad. Keycap Puller. Then we have a switch puller, which this one It's a bit of an odd shape. I think it will work, and the reason why they included this is because this is actually a hot swap keyboard. A Bluetooth 10 keyless hot swap. What more can you ask for? And it's only 90 bucks. The downside, I guess, about all of this. So we'll be removing this box now. Also, for $90, they included the switches for you. These are Gateron yellow switches, which actually, they're not the most expensive switches, but they still cost something. So to include these switches with this keyboard actually makes this keyboard an incredible value. So the one thing about this keyboard is that it's very generic looking. If you go to the back, it has a Ninja87BT. Here's the feet. Here's some flip-up feet. These are not the most impressive flip-up feet I've seen because they're not very robust. I can see you like doing this enough times, this may become a bit loose. Here's the on-off switch. Here's where you put the batteries. And again, this is also, I feel like this is not the most robust. It's not gonna fall off or anything, but still not very robust. But the keyboard itself is actually quite robust. It's made out of ABS plastic, so there's no real flex or anything. One of the advantages of this is that it's lighter than most aluminum keyboards. But definitely if you're a gamer who rages a lot, if you smash this against your table, this keyboard there's a higher chance of this keyboard breaking compared to a lot of aluminum ones. Like if you smash those aluminum boards against your table, it's hard to tell who's gonna actually break. But this one, the keyboard is definitely a lot more fragile compared to those. But structurally, it's definitely quite robust. You can't just like bend it and it will just break immediately. It's not that fragile. But yeah, this is basically the board, hot swap, and this is loaded with Gateron yellow switches. The reason I went with this board is because it's an office environment. I didn't want any crazy RGBs or anything. I wanted something that looked I want something lighter. So this is plastic. I didn't want an aluminum keyboard. Like if you had an aluminum keyboard out, I think that would be a bit flashy. And I didn't want any RGB. I think this one might have like, RGB lights, which is fine, but I didn't want the keyboard itself to have any RGB and like flash the heck out of his coworkers basically. So that's why we went with this. Okay, so some more things that we can talk about this board is that it has lube stabilizers, but hard to tell how good they actually are. If they're actually good, that would be fantastic. I'd like to put my own in and lube my own stabilizers. Basically do it myself, but if these are good, then okay, they're good, won't touch them. This is also an aluminum plate, which I feel like this plate is a lot stiffer compared to like at other custom mechanical keyboards, but it's not, definitely feels nice at least. I just think that there's not a lot of flex on this plate compared to a lot of the other aluminum plates in some other keyboards. One thing to keep in mind is that you may think that, wow, this is all really great value for only $90. So what's the catch? Well, the catch is that this is from Monster Gear. And Monster Gear is a I guess keyboard vendor based in Korea, South Korea. And if you order from them, their shipping cost is going to be at least 50 to 60 bucks. Depending on how heavy, like how much, like the weight on what you're trying to get. Depending on the weight, the shipping cost will vary. So it's highly recommended that you get something, but also try to add other things on top of it just to make the shipping cost slightly more worth it. So I got this desk mat also from Monster Gear. I actually completely forgot its name, and I also have a strange feeling that I got that they gave me the wrong color wave that I wanted. Give me 1 second and let me look it up real quick. Okay, I found it. This is the Kanagawa. This was supposed to be a Zenmitsu desk mat, but they sent me over a Zen Mint desk mat, so this is actually not the colorway I was looking for. It still looks kind of nice, but this is supposed to be like a darker blue compared to this kind of greenish color. So I asked for the Zenmitsu, they gave me the Zen Mint, and now if you go on their website, I'm not even sure if that desk mat is even in stock anymore. I mean, I tried looking for it again. It wasn't successful. I had to go into my email and check my orders to actually find what the heck I got, and then go into there, and it may or may not be in stock. I wouldn't recommend you guys getting this desk mat anymore, because I guess the situation is a bit iffy, because I ordered the Zenmitsu, they gave me the Zen Mint. Still a cool looking desk mat, but don't know if you should actually get this or not. So here's what we're gonna do. These Gateron yellow switches are not the final switch option that we're gonna be using, because my friend is in an office environment, so we're gonna use some silent switches. So definitely not these, but just for a comparison, we're gonna load the keycaps onto this keyboard and do a typing test with these switches, and then I'll load my silent switches, and then we'll do a typing test with those silent switches just to see how silent they really are. All right, so let's get started. So as for the keycaps, we're going to be using these, I think the whale keycaps from Kinetic Labs. These are actually not bad at all. These are actually some decent keycaps. But yeah, since I had these keycaps in mind, that's why I wanted the Zenmitsu, which is this would have been blue, but now it's a green color, so it is what it is. Okay, let's see here. There's a lot of stuff here. Okay. So yeah, let's start loading these keycaps on, do a typing test with the yellow switches, and then I'll tell you guys the secret switches I got for the office environment. So I'm pretty confident that you can even use a mechanical keyboard in an office environment and not bother other people because of how good these silent switches that I got are. So we'll reveal those switches. Oh gosh, what am I saying? So we'll reveal those switches later on. So let's load these keycaps on first. Okay, so I loaded all of these keycaps on. I actually am not gonna load the rest of these on because I'm just gonna do a really simple sound test here. Funny enough, I think this is the this is the 60% portion. So if you have a 60% keyboard, you basically take a 10 keyless, cut all of this off, and this is your 60%. If you want 10 keyless, you take a 60%, you add the function row and these arrow keys and all that. But I'm not actually gonna put any of the keycaps on these because I'm just gonna do a quick typing test from this camera angle. because I don't want to remove the camera and then put it back on. It's such a pain in the ass. So we're just gonna type on this right here, right now, real quick, see how it sounds, and then we'll take all these keycaps off, take all these switches off, replace all of them with my secret switch, and then we'll do another typing test and see what the differences are. So let's go. I actually do need some reference material. My monitor is not in front of me right now, so I'm gonna use my phone and I'm gonna put on. Okay, so you guys may not be able to see this, but I have my phone in front of me with an article opened of here are your chances of finding shinies in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remasters, which is Brilliant, Diamond, and Shiny Pearl. So I have this article in front of me, and I'm just gonna type whatever this thing says, and yeah, just do a typing test like that. Okay, so after that sound test, I must say I'm very impressed with the stabilizers because they're actually not very rattly. And the main reason of that is because these guys, when they apply these stabilizers, well, first of all, they're screw-in stabilizers. They're not plate mounted. They're actually screw-in stabilizers. And I was a little bit worried because if you want to replace these, you can, but you'd have to pry open, like you have to put something in between this space and pry it open. It was super hard to find any information on how to actually do it because there's little information about this keyboard in the first place, and not a lot of people actually did a disassembly. But you would have to pry this open with like something has to go in here. You have to pry this open, and it's basically a top piece and a bottom piece. So the top piece will come off. You'd have to remove the switches and everything, but the top piece will come off, and then you'll be able to access the PCB from there. There's actually a piece of foam between the PCB and the bottom case. You'll be able to access the PCB, and then from there you'd be able to basically take off all of the stabilizers and apply your own stabilizers. But it's good that these stabilizers are actually decent, and the reason to that is actually not because of the quality of the stabilizers. I think the Duroc V2 stabilizers, their quality is definitely slightly better compared to the actual stabilizers that they're using. But the main reason why their stabilizers aren't as rattly is because they put a lot of lube in it. Like they really lube these stabilizers. Like they put a lot of heavy lube. If you actually want to take a look again, there's some serious lube, especially this left shift key. It had some serious lube in it. Like there was so much like white lube in it. It was just like completely covering all of the gaps and spaces in there. So to some degree, that is definitely one of the main reasons why these stabilizers aren't as rattly as a lot of other stabilizers that we see. Like a lot of keyboards, they give you the option to switch out the stabilizers, but when they give you the stabilizers, first of all, it's not lubed very well, and second of all, the quality it's just shaking and rattling a lot. So it's a good thing that their stock stabilizers are actually really decent, and the typing feeling is actually quite good. this is definitely still not what we're looking for, even if this was not for an office environment, which it is. But let's say even if the scenario was you just wanted a mechanical keyboard for typing and you were just using it at home, you didn't have to worry about bothering anyone, I would still suggest to lube these Gatoron yellow switches, because first of all, I think their smoothness really comes more into play after you lube them. Like it definitely brings out the smoothness much more if you do lube them. And second of all, these are quite scratchy. You can kind of hear the scratchiness when you're using them, and especially for like the larger keys. You would think that, oh, maybe the stabilizers are bad. I hear these like noises inside of them, and it's not because of the stabilizers. It's just the noise that you hear coming from all these keys is just the scratchiness of the switch itself because it hasn't been lubed yet. So even if you weren't actually going to use this in an office, you just want, if you're using it for gaming, I don't think it really matters that much. But if you're using it for day-to-day use, typing and all that stuff, using it at home, and you didn't have to care about bothering other people, I would still strongly suggest that you lube these switches because I think it brings out their most potential. And yeah, the scratchiness is just a bit annoying to me. So if there's a better option out there and I actually have access to it, then I would definitely go seek that, which is why I strongly encourage you guys to lube these switches if you do get these switches with this particular keyboard. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take off all the keycaps, take off all switches, and replace them with my secret silent switch that I still have not told you guys what it is. Okay, so this is the same thing as before. We loaded all this section of the keycaps, so we're leaving these blank for now just because we want to do a simple typing test of how these are how the sound of these are different from the Gator on yellow switches, and let's just see how they sound and if they're actually silent or not. Let's pull up another article from my phone. This time let's just type what people are saying in my group chat, honestly. Actually no, you guys can actually tell what I'm typing, so I'm gonna just type the Pokemon Shiny one again. Okay. Gosh darn it. Why did you go out? Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but can't believe I'm saying this, but these switches are really good, but I'm gonna lube all of them, basically. Oh my gosh, why do I keep on giving myself more work? These switches are really good, but I encourage you to lube them because every time you type on them, first of all, they're extremely tactile. So you can kind of like use lube to like make it slightly less tactile. The tactility is pretty strong, and I feel like lowering that tactility slightly would actually make the keyboard itself feel better. The main reason why I'm also lubing them, first of all, is because the feel. So if I don't care about sound at all, I get rid of sound completely. I put on headphones and I'm typing on it. The tactility could be slightly less tactile. Like this is a little bit abrupt. It could be a bit smoother instead of just like It's like hitting a wall. Basically, when you're typing on it, it could be a more smoother transition is what I'm saying. Second of all, now if I take off the headphones, these switches without any lube have this scratchiness in them, and it kind of sounds like when you type on it, you hear the sound, and it's bothering me a little bit. It's pretty obvious. It's bothering me a little bit. I know I can do better, which is why I'm gonna lube all of these switches. FML. But it is what it is. So this video doesn't seem like it's gonna be over yet. Gonna have to lube all these switches. I'm not gonna like show you guys this process of like taking row switches, putting on keycaps again. The next time I appear, I'm gonna have all the keycaps ready, and I'm just gonna do a typing test on this with all the lube switches and everything. So Alright, so this is the complete build of the Ninja87BT, which is Bluetooth. This keyboard is actually really decent. The only thing I can think of that maybe high-end aluminium custom mechanical keyboards have over this board is that they're probably built a little bit more robust. This keyboard has a slight creak on the right side. If you like just push the top and bottom piece together, you can feel and hear a really tiny creak, but it absolutely doesn't affect your typing. So when you type, this is not a problem at all, and I don't think this will be a problem in the long run. So I feel like it's inevitable because of the way how this keyboard is built, but at the same time I wouldn't worry about it too much. So yeah, this keyboard actually feels really good, even without like gasket mount or anything. It's just a normal keyboard, but you know, even boards like this, who said that you can't make a board like this sound and feel really nice? So a couple things that I want to talk about. One is the keycaps. These are the Kinetic Lab whale keycaps, I think, and they're pretty good. I would still prefer ePBT and a GMK keycaps over these, but I think these are more readily in stock. They run out of stock a lot of times, but they resupply pretty often, so you probably have a higher chance of finding these in stock compared to ePBT and GMK. The next thing I want to talk about are the switches. So these are U4 silent switches, and these U4 silent switches are, I think, the perfect choice for an office environment. So as you can see, they're super silent. Especially after I lubed them. So they actually became even more silent, if that was possible, through lubing. And they became a lot smoother as well. So there used to be some kind of like scratchiness and roughness to them before they were lubed, but after lubing them, they became a lot smoother. Personally, these would not be my primary choice for mechanical switches if I were to build a keyboard for myself, mostly because most silent switches are slow. After you lube them, after you lube any switch, it becomes slower, but they were slow originally, and after lubing them, they became slower. They still have that good tactility in them, so it doesn't affect the typing too much, but compared to a lot of regular switches, if you like type on them, they just feel a lot more slower compared to a regular switch. So for me, I prefer something more snappy, so these would not be my primary choice if I were to build a custom mechanical keyboard for myself. But you know, I think these are the best choice for a mechanical keyboard if you're working in an office and you don't really want to bother anyone around you, because they probably sound even quieter than compared to membrane keyboards, which is actually super surprising. I kind of know how they did it because I opened up the switch and lubed it, but I'll leave that part up to you to like figure out later. Or I just encourage you to purchase these switches if you do decide to get this keyboard for an office build. All right, so that's gonna be yep, the end of this keyword build. We'll have some more coming in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.